we have to create the right vibe, you know, the energy, and everybody at the organization has to feel so privileged to be here. It's no other way.
Thanks for listening to the Purely Arsenal podcast. Please follow us on Twitter at PurelyArsenalFP for all the latest Arsenal podcasts.
Welcome to another edition, a Christmas special edition of Purely Arsenal Sit Down podcast. We had to come back on for a midweek one. A massive thumping, pumping of Aston Villa, and I'm Neil Shah's here with me, back just recently from the stadium. How you doing, Neil?
Mate, I am ecstatic, and Unai, sour grapes, my friend. You don't want to shake his hand. Sour grapes, but the quad is coming. It's back on. I'm telling you.
All right. I'll take your word for it. I believe you. You're a lucky omen, so I believe in you. James Johnstone with me. How you doing, James?
Yeah, no, good to be here. Happy to be back with everybody once again. And yeah, like Neil said, when you sent the invite, we both clicked it and come straight on here quicker than he went straight down that tunnel, I think, didn't he? He's never seen him move so fast.
No, it was cold. It was cold, apparently. It was a little bit cold. He's not used to the British weather after being here for about 7 seasons. You know, it's very, very cold. Yeah, cowardly, that. I tell you what I really thought about that was the hardest handshake must have been in the reverse fixture. So if anyone wants to talk about, you know, a difficult... I mean, he'd known he'd lost this game for quite a while. He had quite a lot of time to build up to that, and there was no animosity. They're both from a similar Basque region. I think they've always been respectful of each other, so I don't really understand that. I think that's quite cowardly from Unai Emery, to be honest, but we'll get to that as that is the end. There's so much fun before. I mean, let's get into the fun before. So, but let's talk about how we feel about it. Neil, obviously you were there at the game. It was a huge game, lot leading up to it, lots of negative news leading up to it in the hours leading before it, finding out Declan Rice is out. For me, it's like, you know, you guys probably have it in the late afternoon, but I wake up in the morning to this stuff. Do you know what I mean? I'm waking up in the morning and I'm like, how are they getting injured at night? Do you know what I mean? How are you getting injured at night? Everything was fine. What's going on? You know, and it's just, we went from getting injuries in games to now we're just getting them sort of going around the kitchen and that. You know, like it's not next level. But again, I don't want to do a big deep delve again into the injuries and the problems behind them, because it is really a podcast on its own. But leading into it, Neil, I'm sure you going down to the stadium, you must have felt, oh gosh, you know, our biggest player of the season, probably I think Declan Rice being our best player of the season, you know, out. Who knows who else is going to be out come the game time, because we really didn't know. Then all the other things factored in, you know, Villa on this winning run, Unai Emery, and this sort of, you know, ability to ruin Arsenal's party year on year, and you know, get one over on Arteta. You must have felt all of that. So it must have been a fantastic 90 minutes for you to enjoy, or certainly last 45. And a massive win, Neil, a massive win.
Oh, huge. I mean, just touching on what you said very quickly. So they were on 11 wins in a row. I didn't even know that. I did not realise it was that long. I thought it was 11 unbeaten, not 11 wins. So, again, just from that it's a big ask. Aston Villa, as you said, has been a thorn in our side. So you got that challenge. You got the challenge of losing Rice. And then, as you said, you don't even know who's going to get done in the warm-up. It's like, you know, we mentioned it earlier on the last podcast, only 2 days ago, was it? You know, that it's like a lottery now. You know, one injury per game, it's going to happen. Just pick which one it's going to be. It's just ridiculous. So that needs to be addressed. I don't know whether you guys are going to do a pod on that at some point, but it's something that needs to be addressed. And then, of course, you know, it's a pressure game because you've got Man City just on our heels. And you know that they've got Sunderland. Hopefully Xhaka does us a favour on New Year's Day. But I wouldn't say it's a walk in the park for them, but, you know, more on paper, you're going to think that Man City are going to win that. So all that pressure that we must win, a very, very difficult game against the side, arguably now, who's also in the championship running for the title. All very difficult. But if I just move ahead and just move away from the first half just for a minute, going into the stadium and all the build-up, the atmosphere was fantastic. I was saying it off air, brilliant atmosphere. Maybe it's because it's a late night kickoff. People have had a chance to have a few drinks. Massive how can you say, amounts of anticipation and joy and laughter. But I think almost like tentative laughter, if that makes sense. But it was there, and as soon as everyone got in the stadium and then they start doing the fireworks and everything else, everyone was just on it. People were singing. It was just buzzing. So in that way, it was good. And then we have a very indifferent, drab, I'd say, first half, stop-start first half. But then the second half, oh my God, it was unbelievable because it was from the get-go. It wasn't as if we had to wait 10, 15 minutes. It was right from the get-go. Quick goals, just, thinking that we're going to score 5, 6, 7. It was like that. It got to that stage with Odegaard running the show. It was just joyful. It was, again, relief. And then I think, people started believing again. People started believing that we are the team to beat, not Man City. We are the team to beat. We've managed to put one of our rivals to bed, quite easily in the end, if you think about it. So, yeah, just joy. And I've never seen, haven't seen for a long time the happiness leaving the stadium. It was unbelievable. Everyone I was passing, everyone near me, everyone was talking about the game. Everyone was talking about how excited they were. Everyone now looking forward to Bournemouth. Crazy. So what a difference one game makes, or one half makes. Tale of two halves, I think, this game was. Fantastic stuff.
We played better. Sorry, muted again. We played rookie error. We played better in the last few games in a way, overall, in the whole 90 minutes. But again, it's all about what you do in the boxes, isn't it, really? And that's what is quite funny. And we were really, really efficient for a period of time in the second half, and we blew them away. And that's all you need to do sometimes if you're that good defensively, which I do believe we were in this game until... Well, there was a little touchy moments in the first half, which we'll get to. James, what were your thoughts? I mean, it's a huge win. I mean, I don't know where I stand. I mean, generally, my honest feeling on Villa is, and on Unai Emery, is that they're way overachieving in terms of their actual performances. I think they will be up there in the top 4, top 6, but in terms of a title race, I think they've ridden their luck a little bit in the last 11 for sure. I mean, you saw against Chelsea, they could have been outside Chelsea in the first half. But at the same time, he has a real knack of overachieving. He really does. He has a real knack of overperforming his XG, overachieving, getting the most out of the team that he's got, and fair play to him for that. And it was going to be a real test. So, Jay, I mean, it's a huge win. Definitely a statement win. It puts to bed some of those people saying we've not done it in sort of big games this season and this, that, and the other, at least for the time being. But a massive win. With I know they had absentees as well, but we had a lot of key absentees, and we've had a lot of key absentees throughout the season. Whereas theirs has kind of hit them all at once, and I think there's a big difference there for me.
Yeah, I mean, look, we had people before the game being like, "Oh, yeah, but that's all you do is moan about your injuries, or you moan about this and you moan about that." And I'm like, well, okay, then if we're going to apply your logic to that, I don't want to hear nothing about two of your biggest absentees are due to suspensions of accumulation of cards. So you have stupid players. I'm like, if your players are stupid enough to keep getting booked all the time, that's a you issue. So, or your system that you have got that's got you 11 games unbeaten, there's a slight chink in that armour in that, you leave yourselves open to get yellow cards. So it's the balancing act of it all, isn't it? It's very easy to throw stones at the team that are doing the best with what we have got, and I think Neil summed it up perfectly last podcast when he said it was unprecedented because it is. And this one you can actually go with Declan Rice. Oh, actually, that is an impact. We saw the challenge against Brighton. We saw on the 62nd minute him pointing to his knee and saying, I've got something wrong here, because everyone was sharing that video going, he still played 90 minutes, by the way, even when on the 62nd he's going, my knee, my knee, my knee. So again, part of that, some of that's the player. Is the player forcing it? Jack, you're more of an expert here than I am, but is the player doing enough to want to come off or what have you? And is that team doing enough to go, do you know what, we'll save you for a rainy day? or another day type scenario. But yeah, considering that was all on the fly again, and first half we still had seven chances at goal. Was it the best? No. But if you looked at the majority of the chances, yes, theirs were more like one-on-one and more gilt edge, and we were a bit fortunate to get away with some. But we still had a few. You know, Gyökeres had the first initial header, which he has to get on target, and I know we'll talk more about him probably later on as we move on. The diving one, I think that's a lot harder. But, you know, that's still a chance there. I'm not going to absolutely slate him for that one. I think Timber had a shot from outside the box quite early on as well, about 20-odd minutes in. So there was a few, you know, few openings there, a few chances there. But just like we said, it was just the ball progression and what have you just wasn't, you know, we were all saying it at half-time. I know you were actually at the game, Neil, so you probably, I know the 5G apparently has got better at the Emirates, but I doubt you would look in and listen to seeing what we were all saying. But we were just going like, oh, this is so slow. Like, can we you know, get this up a bit? And what I did like, Jack, and stop me if I'm going too early, but what I did like last night was that we are predominantly a right-hand side dominant side. And we've seen that with Odegaard, Saka, Timber, or Odegaard, Saka, White. It all normally goes down there. We tried it a bit in that first half, but you and I, and what have you, and Villa and how they set up and everything, were just like completely nullify Saka altogether. And I think of everyone that started that game for us yesterday, I think he, not just how he applied himself as well, because I don't think he really covered himself in glory per se, but I think they did such a number on him that they made him absent. And it was just like, let's see what you've got down our left-hand side. And what I love, Jack, and I don't know if that's because he's doing it of his own accord, or if Arteta's like, yeah, go on then. But Hincapié, unlike Calafiori and Skelly, and don't get me wrong, I'm not slating them two as players because they're both very, very good players and important. But what I love about Hincapié is he overlaps on that left. He doesn't come into midfield or into the centre. He goes round the outside. And look at that chance for Gyökeres that was created. It's because he's overlapped. And I think Trossard's like, yeah, I prefer someone going that, because I'll invert. I want to be the one who cuts in and shoots into the box. I want someone going round me. And I think he really, really thrives off that. And I thought Hincapié as well again yesterday was excellent. I'm really either at left back or centre back. The more I'm seeing him, Jack, the more I'm like, I like this guy. I'm like, this guy's a player. He's a proper player. So, yeah, that was that for me in terms of highlight-wise in the first half. There wasn't much to go off, but seeing that little link up between them two, and I mean, and look what happened in that second half with that left-hand side. But I thought them two, especially the way they were playing, I thought that looked really exciting and promising.
Yeah, he has a bit more traditional movements from a left back, doesn't he? Which is not really the same with the sort of, you know, inverted style and the into midfield of Lewis Skelly or Calafiori, who basically just goes everywhere he likes, doesn't he, Calafiori? But he's got a real good balance from it this season. And hopefully, again, we're not privy to much information on what the injury is with him or how long it's going to be, just like we aren't with many Arsenal players. So at this point, the good thing about Declan Rice, I'll say, as I get onto the first half with Neil, is from what I read, and they don't give out much information, but it sounds like it's a contact injury that's created the swelling on the knee, which is a much more encouraging thing than saying, oh, he landed really awkwardly. Do you know what I mean? Because then you start thinking of cartilage and ligaments and things like that. And he very unlikely would have been able to play for that long through that. So hopefully he's got a chance for Saturday, because, Neil, I think, and I don't want to call out individuals, but I think Mourinho was a big part of the issue in the first half in terms of the transition. I have to say, when I was watching it, I felt we dominated a lot of the play, but you could have argued at half-time they looked more threatening. And the reason they looked more threatening was basically because Onana was running through our midfield and we looked really slow, and with one pass or two they looked like they were at our back line. And I was trying to work out what obviously with the absence of Rice, but really I think we were either we were either instructing Mourinho to play like this, or Mourinho was not doing his job properly, because he was playing way too high, I thought. And which you know, if we get a ball into him correctly, you know, and he scores, it's fantastic. But it's really running the risk of, you know, if you lose the ball outside the box, they'll immediately just break on you. And I think this goes back to Neil. Mourinho's been a very good signing, but I don't think he's been a very good signing for what we actually signed him for. And I think that is a bit of a problem, to be honest. Look, we won. If you told me we won 4-1 against Villa without Declan Rice, I would have said, but wow, fantastic. You know, I think all this, you know, before this game, we were all very, very nervous when we found out Declan Rice was out. So, you know, kudos to him included, because we got the job done and we deserved to. But in that first half, I think not just him, but he was a big part of the spacing issue in the midfield. And we feel very slow without Declan Rice in midfield. And I think that's a concern possibly going forward.
I think it was too easy for them, in my opinion. You know, they're dominating the midfield because of this issue. If you look at Mourinho as an individual performance point of view, it's just nowhere near. I think it's light and day between what he does and what Rice does. He's very slow. I just think that he's again not forward thinking. He's not progressive enough. I think it was James. You put that heat map of him on. It's like he's only probably got one. Was it just one pass, which was potentially a progression pass out of?
Yeah, end of the first half, he made one pass into the box. Yeah.
And I'm sorry, that's not good enough. And this begs the question. Number one, for him, I think, because of what you just said, Jack, that when he's up front, I don't think we haven't got a better player in the squad that can do those like touches into the goal. I think he's the best at it, whether he does it with his feet or his head. So that is a positive for him. But I think, to be honest, I think that's what we should just keep him for. I know we didn't buy him for that, but I think that is what he should come on for. Not start games there, but maybe come on if we're running out of options or we need someone to come in, God forbid, for another injury or whatever it is, a suspension or a yellow card, get him on in the last 20 minutes as an impact forward, makeshift forward. I don't think he should be playing in the midfield at all now, unless it's absolutely necessary. But here's the other conundrum, which I don't understand. We've got a very capable player in Norgard. From what I've seen of him, I like him. And why aren't we playing him? He was captain at his previous club. He's strong. I think he's quite intelligent. And I think he does progress with the ball. So why are we not playing him? Why is this insistence on using Mourinho? And I wonder if that's because Mourinho was more an Arteta signing and Norgard is more of a Berta signing. I don't know, but let's not get into that today. But we never know. But I just feel that there's options there. And if not him, then the youngster, Miles Lewis-Skelly, is there as well. So there are options for the midfield.
Yeah.
As James said, we can have Hincapié or Itachi as the left back. He's doing a blooming good job. So I don't really want to see Mourinho there again, unless it's absolutely necessary. I think he completely constrains the midfield. It made it so easy for Villa. They were just, almost like a flick of a switch. They were just getting through us so too easily. And if it weren't for Gabriel and Saliba, it could have been a different story in the first half. Yeah, because Gabriel, Saliba, James, you mentioned players that stood out. Hincapié, Gabriel, Odegaard, Trossard, and Zubimendi. We've got to that stage again where we could pick a plethora of men of the match. So, but Mourinho, no. I'm sorry. I don't want to see him there anymore.
Yeah, the hard part with that, Neil, is obviously there isn't anyone that really has the attributes of Declan Rice, and then we're all going to talk about we can't play Declan Rice all 90 minutes. Then it's like, I do think Lewis Skelly's a really interesting one. I think Norgard, you'd have to reconfigure some stuff, but it's possible. You saw it sort of not too late in this game, right? Zubimendi and Norgard play. Who did Norgard come on for? Do you remember who Norgard come on for? I'm sorry.
I think it was Marino, wasn't it?
Was it? Yeah, it was. Sorry, it was Marino, because we'll talk about not just that Marino was bad, and this is a lot of positives in this podcast, but we're going kind of chronologically. So the first half was not as great. But he was also very lucky to stay on the pitch, Marino. And actually, the more I watched that on Twitter, and I'm obviously winding up Villa fans like you do, saying he got the ball, but wasn't even near the ball. But what really annoys me about that is brainless activity on a yellow card. That is really, really dumb. Really dumb for such an experienced player. There's a lot of talk about Marino. What a brain he's got, though. Well, that was one of the dumbest things I've seen a player, Arsenal player, do all season. That was us early last season doing silly stuff. Like that has got to be gone. And I don't like him close to our box. I don't like it. When he is close to our box, weird things happen. When the two big things that happened against Brighton, we lost the goal, and they all came with Marino in and around it and making an error, or leaving his legs open. I don't love it. So, Jay, I don't know what is the solution there, because I'm surely Arteta's seeing that from a midfield perspective. I do think he has to think about that a little bit, because I don't think Mikel Merino is the solution if Declan Rice is out for a sustained period of time, which he could well be at some point.
Yeah, I mean, look, at the end of the day, you're going to get people that maybe go and look at some of the recovery stats, or his interceptions and what have you, and go, well, he gave the platform for the other players to do what they need to do. And I'm like, well, all of you tell me Lewis Skelly can't play centre mid, Wanyeri can't play centre mid, Eze can't play in that centre mid if Rice isn't there, because of what they do OOP. I'm not having OOP at all from anybody. When Mikel Merino dropped that not just his overall game, but just on first half alone, I don't want to hear what anyone says about them off the ball or what they do out of possession after watching him honk out that gaff last night in that first half. Because he did. He stank the gaff out with that performance in the first half. And we can sit here all we like and go on at Pogmo and we've been outdone and everything. That is one of the, like Verbruggen, where he ran out and absolutely jumped on Gyökeres, and we were all calling it out last time we were all together. That is the most obvious, not even, that's the most obvious second yellow card. And how Arteta didn't go, you're off now.
Right,
you're off
waited,
now.
Didn't he?
Still, he still
really?
was like, I'll keep playing him through. I'm like, I was literally like, you are dancing a very close dance here, Mikel. Like, get him off. Yeah. Get him off now, because it was not working, and it was incredible how he managed to stay on and what have you. I mean, like I said, and I'll back myself again. I put it on Twitter. I said, like, if he's got a set of plums, he's subbing him half time.
Yeah,
he's subbing him half time, because he was already on a card then. And I was just like, it ain't working. Like you said, they were a hot knife through butter. They were just carving us to pieces with him in there. And, I mean, 1-4-4-1 at the end. So don't really want to spend the whole time. Yeah, don't want to pump Marino down. But no, it did not work. Did not work at all.
No, and we do look a little slow in there, in my opinion, without Rice.
And that's an issue. They've spoken about how they will go into the market if they find the players, and don't get me wrong, I believe they're probably working night and day looking at the people. But you need to find either a young player that has the mobility and could also replicate what Declan Rice gives you, or like Neil's put there, you find someone maybe not as old as Norgard, but again, maybe someone that's about 27, 28, like you have with Eze and Gyökeres or what have you, and you go, will you come into a squad and help push this team to the levels that we need to be? Because we're competing on four fronts. Don't get me wrong. We've seen it. Everybody can't play all these games.
No.
So you got to find a person, and you got to find a way, because that solution did not work at all last night. And I believe if you play other sides that are the bigger sides, they'll use that platform, and unlike Villa, where they were very wasteful in front of goal in that first half, other teams might put you to the sword. Because, like we said, the Watkins one right near the end that Saliba made that amazing last-ditch tackle for, he was offside. But the ones before it, he should have buried them. He should have buried them.
Was it Watkins that was offside or Sancho that was offside?
No.
I
Is that what
believe,
you're talking about in the first half?
yeah, I believe it was Sancho that was offside to start it off.
Was
Yeah.
it? Okay, so that whole chance was eradicated.
They delay those. Yeah, they delay those flags though, don't they?
Yes.
They delay them for so long. Because when it was first played in, I was like, I think Sancho's off here. I was still panicking, but at the same point, I was like, I think he's off.
Yeah.
Well, or he looked off to me, but yeah.
Yeah.
James, I just want to
behind in Cappy, eh?
Just touching on what you just said about the chances, and they were wasteful. I think, that they were. There was one in particular that, Watkins probably would think, oh God, what have I done there? I missed a big chance here. But a lot of the others, I think, although they had the chances, I think Saliba, again, just mentioning Saliba and Gabriel, their positioning and their communication between each other was so great. They were nullifying them.
Yeah.
And almost, I wouldn't say with ease, but almost like they were in control, is the best way to explain it, because they are just so strong and physical and calm. Saliba brings the calmness, and I just felt that a lot of the time, because those two are back together again, it made the world of difference to us yesterday. Funny how the one we conceded was after Gabriel went off. You think about it,
yeah.
So I think there's that as well. But I just feel that when you look at a replace or trying to get a cover for Rice, it's going to be so difficult for them. Because I think Rice is just so up there on the levels. It's almost impossible to find someone who's anywhere near him, because he's so he's so fast as well. This is where Marino's another. Marino, if he makes a mistake, at least Rice, if he did the same thing, can recover or at least make a good attempt at it. Marino's just too slow.
This is where I think we're missing a little bit. I forgive him a little bit because we've not had the left back options, but I wouldn't mind seeing Lewis Skelly here. I think the reason Marino gets the nod is stature. I think he worries about set pieces defensively, and I think if Kai Havertz comes back into the team, we might eradicate the need for that, because Kai Havertz is actually very, very good aerially, defensively as well. He kind of covers a lot of those Marino, whatever you want to call it, off the ball stuff. So, but in terms of the profile of Rice, in terms of his running power with the ball, his ability to find a pass, I think Lewis Skelly's actually the closest to that. He's still far away from it, but I actually think I'd like to see Lewis Skelly tried out in one of the domestic cups in that position, to be honest, because you can't play Declan Rice in the league and the FA Cup games. You can't, or at least in one of them you've got to rest them. Do you know what I mean? So in the one that you do, I'd like to see it, because we have the left back options. Hopefully at that point that we can try that, because like you said, it's going to be a very hard market to find someone in. But you can't. If you look at everything, Rice is probably our closest thing to a single point of failure, right? I think we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, didn't we, James? And today, I think in the first half you saw that to a certain degree. I wouldn't say we got away with it, because like you said, I think we probably still edged the chances in the first half. The biggest one that I remember was that Watkins one, where I think if he had a left foot we'd be in real problems, but he tried to take it with his right foot and it was a left-footed shot, and then it would have been a really good chance, but he took it on his right foot and he kind of went wide, didn't it? But
you make a great point as well, because every player that's been in that left eight since Arteta's tenure, they've all been 6 foot plus.
Exactly.
If you look, Granit Xhaka, 6'2". Then obviously Rice has gone in there. He's a good 6'1", 6'2". Brought Kai Havertz 6'4" to play there. Obviously, we all said he's a better striker than he is a midfielder, but Arteta went, no, I think I can play him here. And then you got Marino as well, that's 6'1", 6'2", isn't he? So, yeah, you are probably right there on the stature front, Jack. I think you nailed that.
Yeah, which means it's unlikely he's going to go that route of Lewis Skelly, so it's probably more likely starts to rely a little bit more on Norgard and reconfigure the midfield a little bit, which I would also be okay with, but I don't think it helps the legs and the agility part of it, because I don't think Norgard really has that either. So it's definitely a concern, and I think a lot of those were realised a little bit in the first half. I wouldn't say we got away with it, but we got a couple of things in the first half that went our way. One was Onana picked up a little hammy injury, and I don't know about you, but I was looking at that going, yep, I'd like to see a bit of John McDonald's McGinn right now, actually, for our midfield to go up against. I've got no issue with that. So that played into our favour a little bit there. Just a little bit of luck there, I thought. A bit like we got with the Merino second yellow. I think Saka, you spoke about it as well, James. I mean, he had half the amount of touches than Trossard. And when have you ever seen that in a game? And I think
that's what I thought as well. Was it 26 or something?
26 to 51.
Yeah,
and he knew it. And he was lucky not to be booked as well, Saka, because he gave a couple of little dodgy fouls away. And I thought, you're a little bit lucky there not to get booked, Saka, to be honest. But I do think he was being marked out of it. And I think it took a while for us to adjust to that because, our typical thing was look up, give it outright to Saka. And we couldn't do that because Luca Digne was there and they just were sort of doubling up on him quite cleverly. And he was getting very frustrated. He needs to find an answer to that, Saka, because you can't get frustrated like that. You need to find a way of getting yourself on the ball, whether you come more centrally or whatever you do, And he didn't really do that even in the second half. I don't think he was central to a lot of things that we did, though he had a couple of chances. But look, we get to half time, and I thought we could have changed it there and then. But a second half, I mean, it all changes really at that point of the set piece. I think we upped it a little bit before that point, but it all changes really at that point of the set piece. Neil, some arguments about, you foul, this, that. It's not a foul. He's not a foul at all, and he is like this. Emi Martinez, he is quite flappy from set pieces. And my brother made a point to me. I said he's going to have a good game again. And he went, actually, he has quite a lot of dodgy games against us, Emi Martinez. And I was like, yeah, I guess you're right. The Jorginho one, one or two others where he's flat. Martinelli goal in the 2-1 that we won a few years back. He kind of flapped at that as well. But it was beautiful, Neil, to see our leader at the back score, and also to see Emi Martinez be mugged off, to be honest, because he's a right plonker
and fall flat on his face as well. Brilliant, beautiful.
Love it.
I mean, yeah, we kind of talking about Saka, but at least he was involved in that. With the corner. Again, a great delivery. I don't think there's better delivery players that deliver better at the moment than Saka and Rice. They're just so good at it. Who's there again? I think this thing with Martinez, I was watching that on Match of the Day, and they made a good thing that he likes to get involved with the players, which leaves him susceptible to flapping, if that makes sense. He's not focused because he's getting involved with all the players. He did it against Chelsea, and I don't know who the chap was on Match of the Day, but he was saying that, why is it that it takes one mistake like that for the first goal to go in, and then they kind of correct it when he's been doing it over and over again. Well, I don't care because it benefited us, so it's not an argument that I'm going to try and voice for them. Why should I? But I think that is one of the reasons, and that's maybe one of his Achilles heels. Because he is that kind of person, isn't he? He had that temper tantrum and he's walking off down the tunnel, didn't he? So he's that kind of person. But it benefited us. And Gabriel, I mean, all right, it kind of rolled off his body. It wasn't a typical Gabby header, direct and powerful and with purpose. But, he's there. He's still there and he's making trouble. And, and I think that causes Martinez to flap even more. Because I think it's like they're worried. I think they're genuinely worried. When we have a set piece or a corner, I think the opposition teams are worried. And it's almost like I remember the olden days when Mike Tyson was just invincible. The opposition boxer was like, the fight's done before he even gets in the ring because he's so scared of him. They was just so scared of him. And I think there's a little bit of that, a bit of mind games here. So I think great delivery. Gabriel there in the right place as always, making trouble for everyone, and he rolls off his body and bang, we're away. And oh my God, the crowd went absolutely mental. So this was it. It just uplifted everyone. I think that fed into the players, that fed into them, and then they just started that great spell of 20 minutes, or it was 25. Well, we could have had even more than what we got, to be fair. It's great stuff.
Yeah, just the one thing I'll say. The other thing I'll say on Emi Martinez is, and we did get lucky. We've already said it with Merino's second yellow, and maybe even Saka not just getting a yellow, but they got very, very lucky because he was time wasting, and they all were, weren't they? I mean, I think I saw about 6 of their players go down with. They're very clever. Emery's very good at doing this. We know what he's like doing this. We've done this with him in cup games before. He has them go down for a period of time that is long enough not to bring the trainer on, so they have to get off the pitch, but enough time to delay 30 seconds to a minute, and they probably did it half a dozen times in that first half. And Emi Martinez for every free kick, and I was just like, that's where when the goal went in, I just thought the crowd must be so excited, because every time he gets the ball, you're like, now you're not going to delay it, are you? And I love that feeling when there's sort of a football injustice. And that's the real anti-football part of football, in my opinion, is when you start to delay games from the get-go. Let's be honest, they're not a bottom half team. They were top 3 going into this game. And they are delaying the game from basically the 6th minute onwards. I think that was the first time I clocked it. Yeah. But then, the media agenda will be, but Arsenal got another set piece goal, so that's not really football. Let's be honest with what we're seeing here. There's only one team attempting to really play the game here. The other team's trying to. 24 minutes was it? The ball was in play in the first half. I mean, It's a ridiculous count, James. That's another thing that we didn't probably touch on the first half.
Yeah. They said, didn't they? There was like 19 minutes of waste, and I mean, he gave 3 minutes at the end as well. Just 3 minutes extra time. Madness. Yeah. But go on, Neil.
No, I was going to say this is what everyone was talking about in the crowd. It was so stop-start. The first half I thought was just drab, because not so much because of maybe our play, but the referee had lost control of the game, and he was allowing them. I mean, if you think about it, the first 3 or 4, even 5 minutes, we started off quite well actually, and Villa straight away clocked that. Right, how are we going to tell this? We'll start doing this rubbish, going down easy, or the goalkeeper taking 20 hours to take a kick, all of that. And it just became stop, start. And I thought, this is going to be another one of those games, and thankfully the second half was a completely different story. But they really were trying it on, big time. And it just was a tactic to derail our momentum, because they thought, we can't outplay these guys footballing-wise, so we're going to outplay them by frustrating them by doing this. And then they talk about us with our dark arts. It's a joke. It really is.
Yeah, and the ref someone said that who's delaying the game more, the ref or Aston Villa, and that was a good point really on the first half, despite the fact we got away with a yellow card here or there.
Yeah. Regardless of getting away with it, like we said, he was shit last night.
He was poor.
And I mean, he's isn't our favourite guy in the world. I don't know how he's still allowed Arsenal games, old Gillet, whatever his name is.
Was he on VAR, was he?
Yeah, and I'm like, for some of them, I know I'm jumping the gun a bit here, but for 2 of them goals, to wait, I'm like, mate, I'm indoors and I've got one angle. I'm like, you got how many fucking tellies in there? How many sets of eyes? People in the headset all chatting. I'm like, I've got one angle on one television and I can see. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? The lot of you. I'm like, Jesus Christ. But touching
the Morgan Rogers one as well. How did he get a foul for that? Oof.
Yeah.
Lucky, really lucky. But yeah, you're right. Yeah. I didn't think he had a great handle of the game at all.
No, he was shocking. And Gabriel for the goal. Brilliant. I mean, Martinez grabbing him all over, throwing his shirt about and everything.
Yep.
And then Gabriel's just like, keep tugging me, mate. I'm fine. I'm bigger than you. I'm stronger than you. Obviously, slips the ball through his hands. And like Neil said, probably come off his body. Might even have a chance there, Neil. It could have been a Martinez own goal. I'm glad that they've given it for Gabriel. But could have easily been a Martinez. And then he's on the ground. Oh, he's fouled me. Like, mate, I was like, you were all over him. Like, you've dropped the ball because you're a dummy. And then you're rolling about on the ground trying to... But yeah, it was hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. I mean, both the Brazilians to dunk on him and score. He must be seething with that.
Yeah. The only good thing about what's going on with Martinez is Villa fans, deep down, they know he's a scumbag too. I mean, he wanted to leave them in the summer, refused to play in all of the pre-season, couldn't find a club, and then had to come back in. That's basically what happened with him. So they know he's been chucking them in. He chucked one in against Chelsea. He's been chucking them in for Liverpool. He just passed it out to them, didn't he?
Look at it, Jack. Man United, you know how desperately they needed a goalkeeper.
Yeah, still didn't
they'd have rather have gone with a kid from the Belgian league than him. And he's a World Cup winner. He's been a Golden Glove winner in the league and what have you. And they still went, we'd rather have the kid from Belgium than you.
Yeah, he'd be perfect for Newcastle. He'd be perfect for Newcastle. They could just have a collection of 11 absolute numpties. He'd be perfect for him. Jolinton, Bruno Camara's in him. Imagine that. Jesus.
It's just not a nice person, guys. I mean, look at his antics when they won the World Cup, when he was dealing with the trophy. I mean, how can you do that in front of billions of people? What kind of nonsense is that?
Yeah,
it just goes to show what kind of an idiot he is.
Yeah. I actually that's the one thing I quite liked about Martinelli not being on the pitch much today, because I don't like their little bromance. I don't want to see it. I've seen Martinelli doing that with him after a win and a loss, and I'm like, get that out of here. I don't want you do that behind the scenes on Instagram. Don't get it anywhere near the pitch. I was actually quite thankful. I was like, till this game's over and done with, keep Martinelli away from it for me, please. I love Martinelli, but I'm not a fan of that on the pitch, because Emi Martinez has done plenty to rile up Arsenal fans and irritate us, which I don't really understand why. It was his desire to leave. He won an FA Cup with us, and that was great, but it was his desire to leave, literally. He literally wanted to leave. He kind of requested that at that point, because he didn't think he was going to play. So, but that was fantastic. But then after that, James, it's really, I thought, and it wasn't just one player, but I thought it was sort of the Martin Odegaard sort of took control of it. And what he started to do really well was he started to figure out how to press them and win balls high up. And the first one he wins, maybe it was the second one, but he creates that amazing goal for Zubimendi. And I think Zubimendi was superb as well in this half, not just the goal but some of his overall play. And he's a signing that's gone, I foresaw like 10 top 10 signings, and he wasn't even listed on it, and I'm like, he has gone way under the radar here, Zubimendi. I mean, the amount of minutes he's played as well, I mean, he might be ahead of Rice now on minutes played, and into one of the hardest positions to play in the Arsenal team, I think. Fantastic. But James, that was a beautiful goal, and that was a goal that I wished I was in the stadium for, to be honest.
Yeah, likewise. I mean, we made a joke about it in the WhatsApp group, didn't we, that old Dua Lipa was taking selfies because she was bored. But yeah, you had Graham, you had Pat Rice, and you had Patrick Vieira there. And I think them three would have been proud. That was like an old school Arsenal goal, more so the Vieira times than the Graham era. Not that, even though I was a young lad, I know that 91-92 season where they only lost one game, they played some of the best. A lot of people said it was boring. I'm like, no, you go watch that back. That 91-92 team played some bloody electric football when they needed to. But yeah, it was a really, really nice goal. Well taken as well. Very, very happy. And yeah, like you said, Martin Odegaard just took over. And that was arguably the most comprehensive Martin Odegaard performance that we've seen for a very, very long time. And we all said after Brighton, especially you, Neil, you went, kick on from here now. You've got a goal. You've shown that you can do it. Can you give me some more? And yeah, we talked about the numbers. I do it all the time. Well, the last two, he's got a goal and he's got an assist. I said the number, we all said collectively that number's got to shoot up from all of them. And he's gone, yep, okay, as you please, James. I'll leave it with me.
Yeah, let me get started.
Yeah, brilliant. But yeah, no, second half, as well as that goal, both of them were amazing. And like you said there, Neil, and that was what I enjoyed last night as well. Not just on the Twitter, not in WhatsApp groups I was in with friends, with family and what have you. Everybody was going, well, I think he was actually, well, I think, and that's when when everybody can give you loads of different man of the matches, that's when you've had a fantastic game. And that's what you want. I don't like it where everything's pinned on one person. To me, that just, it doesn't work.
We're too good to do that as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We've got too many good players to do that. As much as I like Bukayo Saka, there's too many good players in this team to have him as just the focal point, and it becomes easy to defend against. Do you know what I mean? Like so goals like this and play like this is really good. And I think in the last two games you're really starting to see the physical side of Martin Odegaard's game come back. He's starting to trust his body a little bit more. Touchwood. He's going to go into those challenges. That's the one thing when they decided to start Sancho, I thought off the ball, Sancho is a problem. We've got to be able to take advantage of him, and that's what he did. Odegaard just nicked the ball off him. Sancho, you watch it.
Jack, if I was a Villa fan, I'd be fuming.
Yeah,
because he pulled out a loads of stuff last night because he didn't fancy. We talk about Mourinho and how careless it. Sancho, he pulled out so many challenges.
Yeah,
because he's lazy, and two, I'm like, you don't fancy it, mate.
Nah,
You
he
don't
only wants
fancy.
to do one side of the game.
Yeah.
He only wants to do one side of the
Yeah.
game.
I'm like, you went on loan to try and help you get in a World Cup team, mate. You're not even going to go as a water carrier at this rate, the way you're playing, son. Shocking performance from him.
He carries a lot of the water on his hips. That's the thing with Sancho. He really does, doesn't he? So, but even after the two, then Odegaard's really starting to take control. He had some shots there. One over the bar, should do better. Another one that I actually think he's a little bit unlucky with, that Martinez saves because he can't get it out of his feet and he has to kind of toe poke it from a central position. I thought initially, why didn't you get more power on that? And then I watched it again. I was like, that was unlucky and a decent save, to be fair. Timber from a corner should score as well, a flick over the bar. But we're so dominant at that point, Neil. You go, this is the one. We've been waiting for 3s and 4s in the last 3 or 4 games. Can this be the one? And it ended up being a one, but which was fantastic because we went and got a third, Neil.
It was so palatable that we were going to get more. It was just obvious. I think we had them really on the ropes. And like you said, you came out with a few examples there of chances that we had, and you just knew they're going to get 3. We're going to get 3, 4, 5 maybe. So that was a good thing. Just quickly before I talk about the third goal, I just want to mention, I forgot to mention one thing. With the second goal, it's funny that, isn't it? Because the ball that Odegaard lays off to Zubimendi is exactly the kind of ball that Gyökeres would be crying for. And it's strange that he doesn't get those kind of balls. But just to be a bit positive about him, because I know we've laid into Mourinho a little bit, and this is supposed to be a positive podcast, and it should be. It deserves to be. The corner which led to the first goal, actually, Gyökeres actually was kind of set that up. It was one of the times where he was, I don't know who got the ball to him, but he controlled it so well and held it up so well, which then eventually, I think it led to Timber, forcing the corner. So just give him some credit where credit's due. Just trying to find...
Neil, you mentioned in the second goal, who makes the decoy run to take the defender away to give Zubimendi the space?
It's him.
I know you're clutching at straws because Jack, you mentioned it, and it's a great point. It's not what you paid. It's not what we bought you for. We bought you to finish your dinner. We didn't spend 60 odd million plus on a decoy. Do you know what I mean?
But people want to talk about off the ball movement. Well, there's an example of it. He's done it there.
Yeah,
to help with that goal. To kind of stretch the defence and give Zubimendi the space. So, give him some credit for that. And then, of course, the head of that, he did have the one that James mentioned, where he's kind of launched at it. He was unlucky. It was close. Another day it would have gone in. So
I think the second header, Neil, I thought was good movement for him. I said that, I think, when it happened. I said, that's good movement, unlucky. Yeah. The first one for me, I'm like, that you've got to get that on target.
Yeah, on target. You've got to make the goalkeeper work here.
And I think, I was, certainly at 2-0, he was working really hard. He was holding the ball up a little bit better when we were progressive with the ball. We won a few corners, things like that. I do think it's a little bit, I really liked the 3 strikers at the end of the game sort of collectively hugging each other, and I kind of...
That's nice, wasn't it?
Yeah, I looked at it and thought, I hope we've got a group there that's kind of like the goalkeeper union group, you know what I mean? That's what I started to think. I went, I hope so, because we're all talking about it like this, but in the end, what we really want is them all to be giving everything for Arsenal in every minute.
Correct.
And, in the end, who cares who plays if they're all doing that, and then we're being successful on the pitch? I don't care who plays.
Neither do I.
But at the same time, you are looking at it and going, we really needs a goal. And that, if he got one of those headers in a big game like this, I think there could have been almost like a turning point for him. So I'm like almost saying it out of frustration. I'm like, no. You know what I mean?
You're right.
But yeah, I mean, he did do well. Second half, I thought he worked really hard. He worked tirelessly. I think he was tired probably when he come off. He must have been, because he had to do a lot of running there, especially in the second half. But the third goal, Jay, it's a fantastic finish, but there was a lot going on before it, wasn't there? Because at the third goal, I think I've not seen a re-clip of it, but I think there's a pen in the build-up to the third goal on Timber, but they will not show a replay of it. No. And then there's 2 possible offsides on Hincapié and Saka, both end up being cleared, which is fantastic, really. Neil, I don't know if you want to take this one, but it's Trossard. James, go. Trossard, I mean, goal and assist. Again, what's that, 4 and 3? 7. I think he's our best goal and assist contributor in the league. He has been our best attacker, so he deserves those numbers. He probably deserves more than them. He has been our best attacker this season, and he deserves a lot of credit, because a lot of us, including maybe me, the biggest one, was talking about that we're going to need to sell him in the summer, and I'm very, very glad that we didn't, James.
Yeah. Look, the guy's class. He's been our best attacker this season by a country mile. It's not even close. He's got our most goals in the calendar year. He's got the most assists in the calendar year. Funny enough, he's got 19 GA for the calendar year, which is his shirt number. And then also, most assists, most goal involvements in all competitions this year with 25 in all comps. Joint most goals with 13. And he's played the 6th most minutes. You can sit there and he was important beforehand when we signed him. I think he's arguably been one of our best ever January signings that we've made. But I don't know if he's going to be a late bloomer. He's 31. He's one of the oldest statesmen in that squad. But yeah, games like yesterday, and we've always said this about him, and it does ring true. He is our best big game player for me as well. Every time. And people can go, it's like, Aston Villa's a big game. I'm like, yes. Yeah, before this, the way that they, the world collectively last night watched that thinking it was going to be Arsenal's downfall. Everyone wanted us to lose.
Especially when they heard Rice was out as well.
Exactly. And I'm like, well, all your hate watches and whatever you do. I mean, like I said before, you got a guy on TikTok that's an Aston Villa account, but he makes 7 Arsenal videos a day. I'm like, well, you don't talk about your own team, but you make 7 videos a day about Arsenal. And he's done loads. He's done loads more last night. And I'm like, yeah, great. Yeah, thanks for highlighting how good, But again, like I mentioned before, it's the way it took so long. I'm like, look, if you're going to do Betamax or you're going to get the tape out and try and put it all back together and everything, rewind it to Timber then, because that's a penalty. I'm like, what are you looking for? I'm like, Hincapie's on and Saka's on. I'm like, I can see. Yeah, I'm like, I can see both. And they were moaning about, where's the automated? Because they're still looking at it and what have you. And I'm like, well, he's on.
Yeah.
I'm like, Conser's back leg was playing Saka on, and Hincapie was well on even beforehand.
Yeah. You know what I found hilarious was even when the goal went in, Trossard is running to the ref, asking for the penalty.
Yeah.
I'm like, but we've scored, Urian. Timber is running to the ref. And Urian, we've scored, mate. Don't worry about it anymore. But at the same time, I wanted to see it as well, because I was like, if you're going to review all this, you better go back a step. It would have been really interested if it had been offside. I would have liked to. They would have had to have go back a step. They would have had to, because that's the rule, right? It was preceded it. So, but it's a great finish, like you said. Massive big game player. I agree with that entirely. I think you can rely upon him a lot in terms of his finishing. Neil, it's no coincidence that this finish again is probably the best finish of the game, though the fourth might have an argument. But and he's very, very good at doing that, Trossard. He knows where the back of the net is. Sometimes he'll frustrate, sometimes he'll put a few wide, but he goes for corners. That's what he does now. He goes for corners. He's an adult when it comes to finishing, and we've been talking about us, behaving like children in front of goal and not being serious enough. Well, generally speaking, he's quite serious.
No, 100%. I mean, it's just a fabulous player. I remember I was saying so many times that I think he is our best January signing. That James alluded to it earlier. He says he's probably one of. I think I can't think of another one. Reyes, I think, was January, wasn't it?
Reyes was January.
So there haven't been many, but I think he's definitely up there, if not the best. But he's matured. For me, he's matured this season. I mean, you were saying what you were saying, Jack, and I don't think there's you shouldn't feel bad about it, because we like we always do on this podcast, we see it as we say at that moment in time. And I think there was an argument, even we were talking about Martinelli as well. And I'm glad they both stayed, because Martinelli's doing it in the Champions League. Trossard's doing it in the Premiership, and they're both contributing fantastically well to where we want to get to at the end of the season. And I just think he's just so. I think he's matured more so than he was before. And the other difference he's made, and it's proven me wrong. I've always said he's better as an impact sub, but actually he's doing really well now starting as well. He's kind of changed it. He's mixed it up this season, and he's doing a lot better starting. So there's that. But I thought the finish was just superb, and I think it was Timber that laid him off, wasn't it, James? Got the last touch. It was a bit of a ping-pong. After the penalty shout, it was a bit of a ping-pong. I think, I can't remember, I think, was it Odegaard loops it in, it hits kind of Saka in a weird way, and then it bounces, kind of deflects off him, and then, I don't know, eventually it ends up to Timber, who just a little tiny pass to Trossard. But the way he found that corner is just trademark Trossard. Fantastic. But all three open play goals were great. And we get done for, we're an early set piece FC or own goal FC now. And look at those three open goals. I think the fourth one was actually the best. Because
I think the fourth one, it was one of those that I wouldn't say to the level of, Declan Rice against Real Madrid, but it was one of those where you were just like, whoa, like almost speechless for a second, because it was the way he kind of opened his body up or something. But I mean, Neil, Gabriel Jesus, I mean, it's got to be huge for him. Like, let's be honest, no one predicted Gabriel Jesus even sort of being part of the first team squad to a significant level again. I don't think, and he deserves a lot of credit for that, because we're top of the league. It's not like we're not playing well. Sure, we want more goals, etc. But he deserves a lot of credit, because he's come back. A lot of people coming after an ACL, sometimes they look way off the pace. I did say I thought he looked a bit heavy, but I thought he looked sharp on the ball.
Sharp.
Yeah, and since the get-go, really. And he has, I think he had a decent performance against Palace in the League Cup. I do, till he tired out about the 55th minute. And I think he's deserved his appearances since then. I do think it was touch and go whether he started this one. I personally do. I reckon he had a bit more of a thought on it. I do, and I think maybe he had a bigger thought on it when he realised Rice was out, because of the gaping holes Mourinho leaves in the midfield. And we know Gabriel Jesus likes to fall into those pockets a little bit. Yeah. But I don't know, what do you think this does for him, Neil? This is a player that's 28, 29, lots of injuries. We're not sure how much we can trust him physically yet, but if we can get something out of him physically, he's not going to go. He's not going to leave this team quietly, because he's too good a footballer to just sit on the bench. I mean, if he's fit, he's going to play minutes, isn't he?
Selfishly, I think we should try and get as much as we can out of him before he does possibly sustain another injury. I mean, obviously, for his point of view, he got the World Cup, and he'll probably want to be in that. But I think James mentioned it in the last pod. So you've got his motive. I think he does want. He does love. He's well settled here, and he does love the club. So he obviously wants to help the club. But I think, on a selfish point of view, I would say, try and rest players, especially with injury. Try and kind of be careful and cautious with how they come back. I think, so on a selfish point, I'm worried that he's going to sustain another one soon. So let's get the most out of him before that happens. That's my point of view. And to be honest, although he's a bit chunkier, he reminds me of the Jesus that came on when we first signed him. He was incredible with Zinchenko when he first came to the club. I know we were like, oh my God, look at him. Look what he's giving. Look at City. They've got rid of him. Look what we've got from City. And he's just sharp, and he's hungry. I just see a hunger in him, that he just wants to do well, and he's doing the same thing, bamboozling defenders. But that goal was so. I'll let James say it. I talked about last minute, just very quickly. I love the way Odegaard, at the start of that passage of play or that attack, the way that Odegaard almost like chipped the attacker, or I don't know which player it was, just over his head. It was so clever. And then Zubimendi did great work. And then, of course, Trossard had the speed and pace, which is quite surprising. Watching Trossard, I was like, bloody hell, he's firing up that pitch pretty quick, sharpish. And but Jesus' finish, it was like effortless and such curve. And, you start, and this is where now I do look at Gyökeres and I think, mate, that's what we want from you. You're a different kind of player to him. But look, he's not been on for 5 seconds. And that's his first touch. And look what he's done. Magnificent goal. So I'll go on, James. You take over, but I'm so happy for him. I just think we need to get as much out of him as possible. Jack, I would even go as far as to say start him against Bournemouth.
Yeah, I mean, I was a big proponent in starting him in this one, to be honest. So I do think he's given something here where he's probably earned the right to get a start. Plus, you have to rotate the team. We've had a lot of games. There's an argument for people like Eze just not getting off the bench for the last month, basically. So. There's some real quality there that we need to make sure we utilise and keep them as part of the group. But James, what you thought? I think it was arguably the pick of the bunch. It was a great move.
Oh, yeah.
It was really good to see for him as well.
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, to have the confidence to put something on under your shirt, knowing that you're going to score, so that you can lift that shirt up to
when
that
you're
in
not
itself.
starting.
That in itself's elite. That in itself's elite. And I know, I'm not a religious man. But these lot, I've heard they all do prayer group at Colney, and I'm thinking if I can get in, I might sign up because there's clearly something in it at the moment for this lot. It's brilliant.
They're praying at you, mate.
I know. Probably.
Then we're going, oh my God, it's here.
Well, yeah, get me in then. Get me in. But I mean, yeah. Look, we spoke about Gyökeres. When that defender's there, he's not using him as a wall to bend it round. He's going to try and take him on or whatever. And this is it. All the strikers that we have, even one that isn't a striker that's actually better as a striker, they've all got attributes that can benefit this team. And if that one's not working, okay, we'll try and plug in another one. If that one's not working, we'll try and plug in another one. So it's great that all of them are healthy and we have the options now. Again, as we've always said, isn't it typical Arsenal? Oh, all the attackers are back. Oh, no, your midfielder, your defence is fucked now. Oh, my midfielder defence quality. Yeah, you got no attackers. You're going to have to play a midfielder as a striker. Oh, fucking hell. Okay, here we go then. So, yeah, please stay all fit, all of you. New Year's, if you can stay at home, just watch Jules Holland. I know, Heather Small's on it tonight. M People, quality, love her. Great music. Just sit and watch Jules Holland. Don't go out. Don't jump up and down. Just, put the telly on, have a good night. Watch whatever you want. There's loads of stuff on Paramount, Netflix and all them. Other services are available. Just stay indoors. Don't go out. Stay fit. But yeah, no, what a finish. And like I said, both the Brazilians to do that I know, he's an RG. They love that. Deep down, they're loving that. They are absolutely loving it, scoring against him. And yeah, it was the pick of the bunch. It's such a, like you said, the curve and everything. It's such a good finish. And they mobbed him after as well, which I love. I mean, he's been through the ringer. And like you said, Neil, when we first signed him, I remember that one against Leicester, same sort of thing, edge of the box. And you're looking at it going, has he gone, I'm going to curl this and it's going to go top bit? Because you're thinking there's all these players in the box. He can cross it, he can lay it off and then run again. But he just goes, no, I'm just going to bend one top corner because that's just who I am. And when that happened, I thought to myself, oh my God, like you said, Neil, when we first signed them, and obviously, you do play a lot of that. Look, if they were any good, why would Man City sell them and what have you? But I'm like, he has got quality. He really, really has. And I think deep down, he's like, I will try and give everything I can to this team to have something, and then I'll go. And you're right, Neil. He's willing to give us that. And if we can squeeze every bit of juice that we can out of him to get us something, then by all means do it. And yeah, like you said last week, Jack, as well, Brazil number 9. Oh, I've got to be better than Richarlison, is it, Carlo? Okie dokie. Because that's not hard to do.
I mean, he's the best footballer we've got in the number 9. But like, without doubt, in my opinion, I mean, I think he's a better footballer than Havertz, better footballer than Gyökeres, better footballer than. He's the best footballer we've got. It's just, can you rely upon his body? Can he keep himself fit for long enough? Hopefully, this sort of depth in the centre forward position really helps him in that sense, but he's going to play minutes because I'm just watching him and I'm like, you're just a magnet, man. Every time you come on, everything draws to you, everything. I mean, he came on for 10 minutes or something here, 15 minutes, and he scores the goal, has a really good cross for Saka that sort of flicks off Saka's head. I think maybe it deflects, so I'll give Saka a pass. Had a good shot just before that actually should have done better from Saka, that went over the bar. But yeah, you know, he's involved. He's just really involved. He's really good at holding. I mean, I always remember when Pep Guardiola sold him, he said he's the best defensive centre forward in the league, in the world.
Yeah,
he said.
best pressing forward in world football.
Best pressing defensive forward in the world. And look, he might not be quite what he was when we bought him in terms of his reliability physically, but he's still got all those qualities. You know, technically, he's still so gifted. And the one thing about him is that I find quite refreshing when he comes on for Gyökeres is when the ball goes up to him with his back to goal, I'm confident he's going to come out with it, or we're going to come out with it. You know what I mean? If we go long or we go short and it gets to him, I'm like, you're going to take this ball under, you're going to lay it off. There's a good chance we're going to start an attack here. And I have to say, I don't always have that confidence with Gyökeres. I feel like it bounces sometimes one way or the other way, and I don't always think we're going to connect from it. So I don't know. I think he had his, you know, hat in the game for this one.
I agree with what you've both said. But I think this is why he's going to still keep him as a sub and bring him on and bring him into games like this. He'll start those two semi-finals against Chelsea, and he'll probably start potentially against Portsmouth. But in the league, I think he'll stick with Havertz or he'll stick with Gyökeres because, again, stature and like aerial, you know, challenges and what have you. And it'll be like you two go in there, roughhouse them, you know, smash them up a bit, and then 65, 70, or even 60, 65, whatever, then bring the footballer. Because it's like now you've got to have two games in one as a defender, because you've probably been run ragged and smashed into by Gyökeres or a Havertz, and now it's, oh, fucking hell, I've got to do it, you know. He's gonna twist me up sideways, or if I don't read that right, he's gonna spin me. You know, he can bend the ball round me and everything. So I think he's a really good. What we used to say about Trossard, in that he's a really good impact sub here. I think Jesus. You know, we've always said about, can you have the best 12th man in the league? And we always used to say that about Trossard. He's one of the best. He's the best 12th man in the league. I think Jesus can be that player for us. I really do. I think if I'm a defender, and like I said there, I've had 60 to 65 minutes of a Gyökeres or a Havertz, you know, and I'm trying, you know, they're smashing into me and what have you, and then I got him coming on, I would think to myself, shit.
Yeah.
You know, because it's going to scramble your brain. It's, you know, a lot of people think of the physical wear and tear, but a lot of it as well is your mental side, you know.
Yeah. And
having to work. And he will work people.
Yeah,
he really will.
He really will.
You know what was also nice? I just thought, you know, who displaced Trossard when he came back from injury, 2-3 seasons ago? When I was pretty upset. I think you were as well.
I was seething, Neil. Yeah, I know.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's ironic that today Trossard assisted Jesus for that crazy goal. Brilliant.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting because two other things that happened in this game, or alongside it, was Kai Havertz made his way back into the squad, so he's obviously fit enough to be in a squad, and he's going to start getting minutes soon. And you know, touch wood, those three stay fit. Generally speaking, even with the games we've got, you know, there's going to be a hierarchy there, and it's going to be very interesting to see how that plays out, because 3 doesn't usually go into 2, and we don't. You know, the one benefit Jesus has is he's one of the players that can play wide as well as central. So you know, that's where he may get more minutes from the bench, like you said, James, which will be really interesting. But that is the sort of dilemma that we want us to have, because we've been so long without that, you know, having all players available in positions and this, that and the other. So I'm certainly not going to complain about that, but it will be interesting. You know, he's going to have to make some big calls very soon. He's not quite having to make it yet, but he's going to have to make some pretty big calls very soon, because, you know, if Kai Havertz is another one, he's not going to sit on the bench for very long, Kai Havertz. So he's going to be back amongst it. I expect the League Cup game is sort of one that we're looking at for Kai Havertz, I assume. But yeah, then after that, it's kind of up to him to show he's fit and ready again, isn't it? And the other thing is when Yeri was not in the squad today, I expected that fully. Once we heard Kai Havertz was going to be in the squad, though there was tons of meltdowns. I pre-warned people, but I still had a meltdown. I was like, you knew it was going to happen, yet you're still having a meltdown. I don't have any major concerns about. I think loaning Yeri out is not a bad thing. I said that in the summer. I said I don't think it's bad, as long as it's the right loan. You go and loan him out to flipping someone in France or something. I don't like that. If you loan him out to Palace or someone like that, Bournemouth, these types of teams that are good footballing teams with good coaches, and he's going to get guaranteed play time. I've got no problem with that for 6 months, because then
Jack,
we can see what we got.
We play them next, yeah? Semenyo has said that he wants everything sorted by the weekend of where he is and where he's going to play.
The manager said that he thinks he's going to play at the weekend, isn't he?
Well, this is it. I mean, if you watched the end of that game, and there's a lot of the clips that have been doing they're all chanting, they sing the Spandau Ballet, what we used to do for Zinchenko to Semenyo, phonetically it still fits. And he was clapping them and like tapping his badge as if to be like, thank you, I'm off. So, yeah. And he said he wants it sorted ASAP. And there was the Romano just yesterday saying that in the next 48 hours that should be done and dusted to Man City. So him not being there, they wanted the is it Brennan Johnson, the lad that plays for them up the road?
Palace, yeah,
he's agreed to go to Palace. So I look at it and I think Namweri there has got a great opportunity to, and I know that Semenyo sometimes plays as like an 8 or he sometimes plays as a winger for them, but I think that Iraola as a manager, Arteta knows him. Obviously, same like we said about Emery, both from the Basque, both sort of similar sort of style in how they want to do things. And I think Bournemouth would be a great opportunity for him. I really do. Again, we constantly say it, Jack, loan within the league so that you can harm other teams. And that can help potentially you, and we don't do it enough. Yeah. So yeah, I would be over the moon with him going to a Bournemouth, because 1, he's going to play, and 2, he's got another good manager in the same sort of vein of what Mikel Arteta is doing. They're not had the best season this year, Bournemouth, but I'm like, when your whole defence. When both majority, your right back, your centre back, and your left back all get taken off you. Yeah, it's very, very hard to adjust. Yeah, exactly. I think he'll still be there by the weekend, because I think Man City, they probably won't be in a rush to grab him if they know, we're playing Bournemouth and stuff like that. But I agree. I think Yeri would be perfect for a team like that, to be honest. But overall, though, look. Fantastic win. I think when Yeri will go on loan, I think it would be wise for us to do that. I don't see how he's making many squads if everyone is fit. And, again, fine with it. Not everyone's, going to stay at that age. Some of them will be loaned out. And you got Dowman as well. I know, and you can't loan out Dowman because he's not even signed his first professional contract. So there's that to think of as well in terms of what we have in the far birthday today, 16. So that better hurry. That better be on his table because he can sign it today. So is it 16 or 17? The first professional contract? I can't even remember. I think it's 16 now. Is it 16? Is it? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Then it will be, hopefully. That's why we played Nwaneri against Brentford all them years ago, weren't it? Because when he was 15, because it was like we need to show him a pathway. Yeah. We need to show him a pathway to get him to sign when he's 60. If you remember, Chelsea and all them other scummy clubs were all trying to tap him up when he was 15, and we were like, nope. So that better be in a FedEx or someone delivered that straight to his door this morning. Obviously have your presents, have your cake, Max. But whilst you're there, mate. Get that contract signed, boy. Get that. Yeah. You mentioned Mike Tyson earlier in the show, Neil. Like Mike Tyson said, sign the contract. Sign the contract. Get it signed. Yeah, just before I do predictions, I mean, obviously at 4-0, they basically created nothing until the 92nd minute, when I think we just, we took Gabriel off, and they created 2.37 XG in the added time. So they'd created 0.72. I did enjoy reading that. on XG philosophy is a great account, but yeah, seeing that when it flashed up, I was like, bloody hell.
Yeah, and then you add it up from the crazy McGinn chance, which is basically more than a penalty because he's 2 yards out. What a save by Raya. The Watkins header before that, which will count for a hell of a lot, and then of course the goal, which was a tap in from a yard from Watkins, so that will also count for a lot. So it's really, it skews what was really a very dominant performance, is all I'll say, basically, and a bit frustrating to concede right at the end. I do think we'd switched off for that last 5-7 minutes. Let's be honest, we're not used to being 4-0 up in games. We usually make it a lot harder than it should be. So I'll give us a break on that one. Hopefully, we play all the way through in every other game. But Neil, predictions. We got Bournemouth against. We're away at Bournemouth on Saturday, 5:30 p.m. We obviously know from last season, very difficult place for us to go. They did very well against Chelsea. They could have won against Chelsea yesterday, to be honest, at Stamford Bridge. They were a better side for the bits that I watched. So, what's your prediction, Neil?
Before I say that, I want to mention Raya. I mean, 2 world-class saves in 2 games. I was saying in the last top 3, I've changed my mind. I think he's the best keeper in the world. I don't care what else is out there. That is just an insane save, what he did earlier today for you, Jack, last night for us, James. Unbelievable. Crowd went ape. Well, I'm not going to swear. They went mental because a lot of the people just recognised what he did there. And it's like, this keeper, oh my goodness me. So I think he deserves a mention. I mean, if just on those 2, they should win. One of those 2 should win Save of the Season, I think. Yeah, they're that good. They're that good. And then the other thing I just want to quickly mention is I've never disliked Unai, never, but I lost a lot of respect for him after what he did yesterday. There's no reason for him not to shake Arteta's hands. I think that was not fitting, especially if they don't have an issue with each other. And I don't remember Arteta not shaking his hand when we lost only 24 days ago.
Last kick of the game as well.
Yeah. So, sorry, then to even lie to say, well, I waited. Well, no, you didn't, because there's that footage of the whistle going and you go straight out. So don't lie. So I lost respect for him. I do want to mention that. There's no
Neil, when they scored, he runs up and down that little bit of strip that they've got at Villa, like rightfully so. You've won the game, but he's got he's doing a shearer with one hand in the air, giving it all, and it's just like, the minute you get pumped, down the tunnel. I know it's hard going. You've won 11 wins on the bounce, and you lose like that. I get it, but they stopped our run as well. We were 18 unbeaten. Was it?
Oh, and they drove their luck massively in this run. Let's be honest. I mean, it's not like they were pummeling teams. I mean, even 3 or 4 days ago, they basically should have been 2 or 3-0 down to Chelsea. You know what? We know what Emery's like. We had this under Emery. We had a 22-game unbeaten streak, and we were all going, how are we doing this? Like, we were conceding 25 shots in games and stuff like that. He does have this knack for credit to him, because he's obviously doing something right. But oftentimes, he's the data is pointing in the other direction, really, and he gets away with it because he rolls the dice and plays the odds a little bit. But sorry, go ahead, Neil.
Yeah, well, anyway, I just lost a bit of respect for him. I just wanted to say that, but I think that's. There's no need for that. None whatsoever. He should have just been the better person and just said, "Yeah, you beat me fair and square. Well done, Arteta. Well done, Miguel." And that should have been the end of it. Predictions. I won't take too long. I'm just going to say, go with it. I will go 2-0, 2-0, and 2-0, and Odegaard.
Like it. James, what about you?
Yeah, I was gonna say 2-0 Odegaard. So to be different from Neil, I'll stick with 2-0. I'll stick with the same scoreline, and I will go like the chant. I'll go Trossard again. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, but I think they've conceded 5 in their last 6 at home, and they've got 4 draws, 1 win, and 1 loss. So they're not the best that they can be at the moment at home. Bournemouth, but we're when we roll into town, teams go up a level. So
and they're very good at against big teams, they tend to raise their level. Bournemouth, because he's
definitely
tactically very good.
Yeah. And that's how he got the job at Bournemouth in the first place.
Yeah.
When he was in Spain, he had a great record against your Real Madrids and your Barças and your Atleticos, but it was the teams around him that he would struggle with. He was brilliant against the big sides when he was in Spain.
Yeah, he knows how to sort of set up against them, and we've struggled. We lost there last season, didn't we?
Exactly.
Yeah, and it was before the Liverpool game, which it is again this season. So I'm sure they'll find a way of getting Jared Gillay in there somewhere. Don't know. I'll go 2-1 Arsenal. Zubimendi. Go 2-1 Arsenal. Zubimendi. Yeah. Boys, it's been a pleasure. Neil, thank you so much. James, thank you so much. Any of those predictions
New Year.
take? Happy New Year from Purely Arsenal. So, of course, Happy New Year. Enjoy it wherever you are. Be like us, very relaxed and boring, watching highlights of Arsenal and all the hate watches from all the opposition fans, which is always fun to watch when you win. Let's keep it going. But, yeah, James, Neil, pleasure. At Purely Arsenal FP on Twitter, Purely Arsenal on YouTube. Keep the faith, up the Arsenal. Thank you, boys.